Video games bring out different things in people. For some, it really brings out the archaeologist inside, except instead of dusty bones and old pottery, gamers dig through code and cutscenes trying to find what the hell's going on.
I don't know!
And sometimes I actually do find it. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 game mysteries that finally got solved in 2025. And number 10 is riding the mechanical bull in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This game doesn't mess around with its secrets. There's an Easter egg that's so difficult to solve that developers had to tease it and later just straight up reveal it. After the initial release, developers on social media teased a lost Easter egg that no one online had yet found, and then let the message stew for a solid 3 years. Players hunted for secrets and never found the specific Easter egg the developers were talking about, and there's a good reason for that. The tease didn't really contain any clue other than its existence, and the existence wasn't enough. The Insomniac Games official Twitter account dropped the knowledge in June 2025. Players have to travel to Zerky's Astrocode, and outside the pub, there's a couple of warning signs that guns are banned inside. You'd think maybe the Easter egg has something to do with getting a gun inside? No, you've got to shoot those signs from the outside. Shoot the left sign exactly 5 times, shoot the right exactly 4, but that's not it. You got to shoot the left another 13 times. And if you do it right, you've just silently activated the most random Easter egg we've seen in a long time. There's no chime or jingle or colored light to indicate that you've successfully completed the Easter egg either. Nothing happens. The only way to learn more is to go inside. Inside the pub, you'll find a mechanical bull. Completing the Easter egg step successfully allows you to ride the bull, sort of. The bull game, it's an unfinished minigame. Your character is doubled and stuck onto the bull while T-posing. You have to hold the button prompt down to stay on the bull, and the minigame, it doesn't really serve any purpose. It's weird and janky. Clearly, the actual minigame was dummied out a long time ago. We're not surprised this one fell into obscurity. There's no logic to the mystery. There's no clue they could have given that made it make any sense. But we are happy to see a big video game secret solved. Another thing we'd be super happy to see is if you would click that subscribe button, because guess what? Ton of you haven't. Just like Insomniac figured people would figure out that Easter egg, you would probably figure that we'd have a lot of subscribers relative to the total number of people that watch us. Not true. There's significantly more people that watch that aren't subscribed, and we would appreciate it a great deal if you would click subscribe. Yeah, I know, it's annoying to continually ask, but we have to. We certainly appreciate everybody that does it for us, and hopefully it does something for you as well. And number 9 is the Howling Tunnel in GTA 5. One of the last unsolved mysteries might finally have an answer in GTA 5. The Mount Chiliad puzzle has mostly been pulled apart, figured out, and solved after years of obsessive searching. We all know about Mount Chiliad and how it's gained legendary video game myth status, but the Howling Tunnel is a little bit lesser known mystery. Breaking it down to the very basics, the Howling Tunnel is a spooky road located in the wilderness of GTA 5. Entering the tunnel sometimes causes an extremely rare howling sound effect to play. Because it's a tunnel, the howling has a reverberation effect that makes it extra weird. Like, is the tunnel haunted? Is there something dangerous here? And most of all, why does this one singular sound effect play in this one location and this one location only? Theories have been floating around for years. Interestingly, there's no wolves in this game. There's coyotes and there's cougars, but there's no wolves, so having the sound effect of an echoing wolf howl isn't coming from an in-game animal, but it was placed there deliberately, right? So if it was placed there deliberately, why? What is the reason? So YouTuber Gator thinks they have an answer. It's all about history, so here goes. In California, gray wolves were hunted to extinction in 1924. These creatures were extremely rare for almost 100 years, and their wild populations were completely ravaged by targeted overhunting. It was not until 2011 that a male gray wolf was spotted in California. That's 87 years with no sightings. This singular solo audio file is most likely an Easter egg playing homage to that lone wolf. Checking the audio files in-game, players discover the sound clip is called Distant Forest Wolf, so it's definitely a wolf. It's definitely placed at the Mount Chiliad tunnel on purpose, so it's probably there to honor that locally famous wolf discovery. It's not the mind-blowing answer to the mystery that some maybe wanted, but that's probably it. At number 8 is the Terminus side Easter egg in Black Ops 6 Zombies. I mean, the zombie stuff in these games is an endless fountain of unsolved mysteries. It's the biggest FPS franchise ever, and they jam so many Easter eggs in every Zombies mode map. Even the dedicated community of mystery solvers can't catch them all. In our search for Easter eggs that were missed for more than a year, we found a little one in Terminus, a map for Black Ops 6. Terminus is set on a prison island overrun by the undead, and like a lot of the modern Zombies maps, the Easter eggs here aren't as complicated as secrets from years past. The complicated interconnected storylines full of lore and bi-monthly cutscene reveals, it's a thing of the past for the most part. Easter eggs are typically solved in less than 24 hours after a new drop for a map. It's a community trained to hunt down secrets. They're hungry. So one getting past this community is pretty surprising, actually, especially a secret that's also pretty simple. Here's the mystery. In Terminus, it's possible to get a boat and reach an offshore location called Temple Island. Using a rare wonder weapon called the Beam Smasher, there's a spot players can shoot that teleports them back to the prison, and that's it. It's not useful, it's weirdly specific. The community guessed rightly that there is more to this interaction, though, and this is the year that players actually cracked the code. To actually complete this Easter egg, you'll need to travel to the Temple Island portal location and use the Beam Smasher alt-fire multiple times. It's not clear how many times, but it can be over 8. Once you go through the portal and return to spawn through enough times, a bunch of resources appear. Finally, some kind of reward for figuring this side Easter egg out. It's not super interesting, but it took a while. And number 7 is the back-of-the-box mystery on Battletoads. For those of us who remember the Nintendo Entertainment System, there was a hell of a mystery way back then. What the hell was that screenshot on the back of Battletoads? The box, the cardboard box that the cartridge came in. There's a very weird image on its back. There's a wall of fire and a toad riding a motorcycle. It looks like level 7, a flying level where you're riding on airplanes. But there's no level with fire in the background, ramps, and motorcycles. Is it a secret level we don't know about in Battletoads? Are there alternate stages we missed? Cut content? It's a mystery that's been clawing at gamer brains for over 35 years, and we finally have an answer. And you've probably already guessed what's going on. The YouTube channel Video Game Ephemera uploaded footage from a 1991 Trade West videotape, VHS, not beta, which shows a prototype version of Battletoads. This is the beta version of Level 7, and it's significantly different from the release version. The finished version has jet fighters, which you ride on. The beta has motorcycles and ramps, which makes for a very different type of vehicle level. It's not wildly different, but the developers did mix things up and change the type of vehicles, so Level 7 wasn't just another turbo tunnel. I think they made the right call on this one, too. It's a pretty small detail, but now we know for sure that Level 7 was at one point very different. At number 6, why are the Metal Slug characters so ugly? A mystery that's been begging for an answer for years. The character portraits in Metal Slug are just really ugly. They make weird faces when you select them. It's an odd detail in a frankly very goofy series of games. We finally have an answer directly from the artist himself. Artist Aiko Oyabu created the portraits for Metal Slug 2 and beyond in all their distorted, semi-gross glory. When you select these characters, they get runny noses or their glasses break. It's different from what you'd expect in an action game. Usually characters are excited to get picked. These portraits look distraught. They don't want to go on a dangerous mission. At least that's what people thought. The developers of Metal Slug apparently received a lot of questions about these ugly caricatures, and the answer is simple. They wanted them to be funny. In a translated thread, Oyabu reveals that the character portraits were designed to create a surreal humor to differentiate the characters from beautiful fighting game heroes. The 4 playable characters in Metal Slug were made to be ugly, unpleasant, and a little gross. The artist even goes on to admit they aren't that great at drawing, That's why the characters turned out a lot uglier than Chun-Li or Terry Bogard. I mean, we're going to have to disagree. They might be ugly portraits, but they're good pieces of art that fit the weird, surreal vibes of the Metal Slug series. These games are ugly, gross, and pretty odd, but they are beautifully detailed and animated. The artist says they were most influenced by the oddball designs of Monty Python and the Flying Circus, and you know what? That tracks. I mean, it certainly explains this unexpected choice for a game about big, tough military people. At number 5, Lost Media Found After 40 Years from Astrocode, a game released on the ZX Spectrum about 40 years ago. Very primitive device by today's standards, or even yesterday's standards. If you've ever seen an Atari game, you can imagine what a ZX Spectrum game is like. They're simple games with super big old chunky pixels and less than 5 colors. So the big mystery is in 1985, a small publication called ZX Computing in the UK featured a tiny review for a game called Astrocode, and we mean really tiny. It's 2 sentences long, and it has a black and white blurry image to preview the game. The review isn't exactly glowing, but the internet just knew nothing about the game. It was released in 1984 exclusively in the UK. It existed for an undetermined amount of time, and nobody knows how much it sold or what the game really even was until a copy was finally uncovered. This game was thought to be lost media for decades, but was finally discovered and dumped into the Internet Archive in 2025. User Don Clawleone has enabled everybody to play it, and it's not very good. Astrocode is a puzzle game about repairing circuits on a spaceship, and no, you don't drive the spaceship because that would be fun. This is just one of many pieces of lost media from the era of the video game crash. There were too many games and too much junk, and Astrocode was one of those games. A piece of media that's only interesting because it's been lost for 40 years. At number 4 is a secret epilogue in Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. It's been about a decade since the Blood and Wine expansion was released for Witcher 3, and CD Projekt Red developer Philip Weber revealed there's a secret cut epilogue in one of the quests. In a game that's been poured over and explored as thoroughly as Witcher 3, that's honestly pretty surprising. The tweet explains how at the end of the quest, Warble of a Smitten Knight, there used to be a flashback to one of the character's parents. These parents are never seen in the released version of the game, and the nymph that curses the lovers is also never seen. But the nymph model was later reused, becoming the Lady of the Lake. The Lady of the Lake was also never meant to be seen, but because the developers had a cut content model lying around, they decided to reuse her. That answers a few of the questions about this quest. It reveals the identity of the nymph, that the cursed lovers in the quest, blah blah blah, explains why things never show up, reveals a little insider baseball with developers reusing models, tiny reveal that really only matters for fans deeply entrenched in these games, but it's another mystery solved. At number 3 is Laggy-Troid. Metroid on the original NES hardware is not the most optimized game. Really, it runs pretty bad even for an old 8-bit Nintendo game. And it's a Western release of the game on the Nintendo Entertainment System that really runs badly. The Famicom Disk System version, which was released exclusively in Japan, actually was significantly better. So the big question one fan asked in 2025, 39 years later, why is Metroid so laggy? Well, we have a couple of answers. According to a coding breakdown by YouTuber Displaced Gamers, there are few factors that cause Metroid to run so badly compared to the Famicom version in Japan. First, the Famicom was a more expensive system with its own additional accessories. One of those accessories was an additional RAM cartridge that could be plugged into a dedicated port. The NES did not get this, so to compensate, every cartridge of Metroid has an additional RAM card built in. That's also related to how the game is programmed itself. Every room in Metroid is loaded into RAM before you enter it, so 2 entire rooms are loaded even though you're only looking at one. And rooms are loaded in an unusual way, placing structures of pixel tiles sometimes overlapping, lagging the game even further. We're not coders, so understanding every nuance here isn't easy. The answer to the mystery of Metroid's laggy movement is pretty simple, though. It just wasn't programmed efficiently. Now we know. And number 2 is Project Pio, one of the oldest pieces of lost media we've seen drop this year, and it's related to the disgraced video game developer Silicon Knights. If you were playing games on the GameCube, you know these devs by name. They created Eternal Darkness and the Metal Gear Solid GameCube port, the Twin Snakes, and were once an important cornerstone of the Nintendo console, but years of bad decisions and bad press finally sunk the studio in 2014. The killing blow came in a lost court case against Epic Games, where Silicon Knights reportedly stole code from the Unreal Engine after claiming Epic Games was somehow sabotaging their licensed use of it. It's a whole bizarre thing. Whole lot we can't explain here. It's just set up to understand. They had a whole lot of plates spinning at one time, and one of their cancel games was finally revealed this year. For the first time ever, YouTuber Modern Vintage Gamer revealed early alpha footage of a game called Project PO. Watching footage, it's a puzzle game where players take control of a private investigator with a unique power. Instead of solving murders with the powers of deduction, this PI literally sniffs out clues at the crime scene. Yep, it's a game about a detective with a super smelling power. The vertical slice of gameplay shows the detective exploring a high-rise apartment murder scene by hunting for clues by smell. The smells are represented by stink clouds in the environment, and oddly, despite this, the game is deadly serious. The murders are gruesome with a horror vibe that's hard to tell from the footage alone. It's a really early build, so things like textures and UI were not completed. It's a very interesting and unintentionally comical concept that feels destined for the cutting room floor. And finally, at number 1 is Beyond the Kill Screen from Donkey Kong. The biggest mystery in the original arcade Donkey Kong was solved after 44 years. That's a long time. This game has been well and truly defeated, though, because someone beat what we all thought was impossible. For years, the gamers out there in the world have wondered, is it possible to beat the kill screen? Which it is, but it requires some really trippy glitches. There is a level beyond the infamous kill screen, and one fan on YouTube broke through the kill screen barrier. Before we continue, let's back up and try to understand what that means exactly. The Donkey Kong arcade kill screen is the end of runs on the standard competition version of DK. There's levels in the Donkey Kong arcade version consisting of multiple screens. There's 4 different screen types, and the iconic barrel jumping screen is the first, and it appears the most often per level, but there are 3 other screens that players have to deal with. Completing an increasing number of screens pushes Mario up to the next level, where the screens get harder. You have less time to complete each screen, and the challenges move faster, making it increasingly difficult to complete. This goes on and on until level 22. Once you finish 116 screens and reach the 117th, a glitch will occur that causes the level to end in 4 seconds. That's the end of competition runs. But there is a glitch on a different version of the game that allows runners to continue the game. On the DK arcade machine, referred to as Japanese Set 3, there's a way to bug out the game by jumping at just the right spot. This causes Mario to float up to the top of the screen and complete it. Remember this because this glitch was previously thought to be impossible on the standard version everyone uses for speedrunning in the US. With that in mind, take a look at Cosmic. The high score runner on YouTube finally broke through the kill screen barrier on the US version of Donkey Kong using a different type of glitch. By climbing one of the broken ladders in the barrel screen, Mario can jump through thin air. This glitch requires some precise button pressing to pull off, but players assumed it still wouldn't be possible. The glitch makes beating the barrel screen faster, but not 4 seconds faster, at least until it was actually tested. It turns out the glitch also makes Mario invincible for the timer, allowing our favorite plumber to climb up and complete the infamous kill screen. This opens up an entirely new world of possibilities for Donkey Kong speedrunners using official hardware, destroying a barrier that was once thought impossible. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconHero. We'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.